Today I am going to deal about AC through series RLC circuit. Consider consider a circuit consisting of resistance R ohms, pure inductance L henries, and capacitance C farads connected in series with each other across AC supply. The circuit is shown in the figure. You can see here a resistor, inductor, and capacitor. Three elements are connected in series across a supply voltage of V, and current I starts flowing through the series AC circuit. The AC supply is given by V is equals to Vm sin omega t. The circuit draws a current I. There are different voltage drops across RL and C which are given by. So already we know that whenever a voltage applied across any element like RLC, there will be some voltage drop across that element. So drop across resistance R is given by V R is equals to I into R, and drop across L VL is equals to I into XL. Drop across capacitance C is equals to VC equals to I into XC. The values of I, VR, VL, VC are RMS values. Okay, remember that whatever the current flowing through the series RLC circuit I, and whatever the voltage drop across resistor, and voltage drop across inductor, and voltage drop across capacitor, that is I, VR, VL, VC are are RMS values only. They are not average values. The characteristics of three drops are VR is in phase with current I. So uh, always we know that whenever a voltage of V applied to a pure resistive circuit, the uh, the current in that circuit and the voltage are in phase. So the nature of the circuit is pure resistive circuit, and VL leads current I by 90 degrees, and VC lags current I by 90 degrees. According to Kirchhoff's laws, we can write Kirchhoff's laws, KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. We can write the net voltage or the net potential difference in a series AC RLC circuit given by V bar is equals to VR bar plus VL bar plus VC bar. Let us see the phasor diagram. Current I is taken as reference as it is common to all the elements. We know that we always try to take current as reference to any AC circuits, because current in AC in series circuits will be same. Okay, current in series AC circuits will be same. The phasor diagram depends on the conditions of the magnitudes of VL and VC, which ultimately depends on the values of XL and XC, which means the phasor diagram of any series RLC or RL or RC or circuits will be depends on the magnitudes of VL, VC, like that. But ultimately the VL and VC, all these voltage drops ultimately depends on the XL and XC properties of that elements. Let us consider different cases. So XL greater than XC, first case. When XL greater than XC, obviously IXL, that is VL is greater than IXC, that is VC. So resultant of VL and VC will be directed towards VL, that is leading current I. Current I will lag the resultant of VL and VC, that is VL minus VC. So whenever XL greater than XC, the current I will lag the resultant voltage. That is the what is the resultant voltage here? VL minus VC will be the resultant voltage, and in this case the current I will be lag the resultant voltage. The circuit is said to be inductive in nature. The phasor sum of VR and VL minus VC gives the resultant supply voltage V. So this is shown in the figure. So before what I said, that I first of all, while drawing a phasor diagram, we should take current as reference, and for pure resistive circuits in AC VR is always in phase with I, and this is for XL condition, XL greater than XC. So VL leads I, so nothing but the resultant voltage VL minus VC. So VL is greater than VC. Next, the voltage triangle for XL and XL for XL greater than XC. So once you observe the voltage triangle, here also the voltage drop across resistor VR is in phase with current I, and the the total voltage represented by capital V, and the opposite voltage is given by VL minus VC. So from the voltage triangle, so we can write Pythagoras formula V equals to square root of VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. That will be equals to square root of IR whole square plus IXL minus IXC whole square. In place of VL we can write IXL, and in place of VC we can write IXC. Okay, next thing, so by doing some mathematical uh, manipulations, I square root of R square plus XL minus XC square, because here uh, I is take as common, so V equals to I into Z. Therefore Z is equals to where we know that impedance formula, where Z is equals to square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. So if V is equals to Vm sin omega t, then I is equals to Im sin omega t plus pi, as current lags voltage by an angle pi. So here, sorry, I is equals to Im sin omega t minus pi, as current lags voltage by angle pi. Next condition is XL less than XC. So when XL less than XC, obviously IXL, that is the VL, is less than IXC. Nothing but resultant voltage is VC minus VL. But in the before case, that is XL greater than XC, the resultant voltage is VL minus VC. But here resultant voltage is VC minus VL. So current I will lead VC minus VL. Next, the circuit is said to be capacitive in nature. The circuit is said to be in capacitive nature. Why? Because here current will lead the resultant voltage. That's why we can say the circuit said to be in capacitive in nature. Before case, the current will lags resultant voltage VL minus VC. There we can say the circuit is even the circuit said to be in inductive in nature. Here current I will lead VC minus VL. So circuit is said to be capacitive in nature. The phasor sum of VR and VC minus VL gives the resultant supply voltage V. This is shown in the figure. As I said that the voltage drop of a resistor VR is always should be in common in reference to the I. So that next the voltage triangle for XL less than XC, that is the total voltage is V and VR is in phase with I, and the difference voltage is VC minus VL. VC minus VL. Next thing, I can say that from the voltage triangle, V is equals to square root of VR square plus VC minus VL whole square. And I can write VR as IR, VC as IXC, VL as IXL. After that I get V equals to I into Z, where the impedance Z value equals to square root of R square plus XC minus XL whole square. If V is equals to Vm sin omega t, then I is equals to Im sin omega t plus pi, as current leads voltage by pi. And for this case, the phasor diagram I can draw as XL is equals to XC. That is in this case the VL and VC two voltages will be cancelled each other, as their magnitude will be equal. when XL is equals to XC, obviously VL is equals to VC. So VL and VC will cancel each other and the resultant is 0. So VR is equals to V. In such case, and overall circuit is purely resistive in nature. The phasor diagram as shown in the figure, VL and VC equal in magnitude. So VC is equals to VL. From the phasor diagram, I can write V is equals to I into R, V is equals to VR, V is equals to I into Z, where the total impedance will be is equals to only resistance, because there is no any inductance and capacitance as they are cancelled each other.